Hey everyone, today we got the new 2025 hybrid F-150, super duper clean looking. Well, we're gonna go get this thing extremely dirty, see how it does off-road. So I've never driven a Ford before. I've never driven a hybrid before. I have also never been in a truck that handles so amazing. This thing feels like I'm driving a sports car. You can go around corners so extremely fast in this, and you're not really... Why is that not shutting off? There we go. Still not completely used to it yet, but the gas mileage in this is amazing. Look down at the gas gauge. We can go almost 700 miles. I just filled this thing up, and we have a ton of gas cans in the back. It doesn't have off-road tires, so I made sure to bring 2 spares. I brought an off-road jack because it came with a scissor jack. I really don't want to use that off-road. It's not going to be good because we're probably going to end up getting flat tires. We're going to try to spend 10 days off-road just because it gets such good mileage. I have 6 gasoline cans, so we should be able to fill this thing up another time and a half, so that's like almost 2,000 miles of range out here with it. So we're gonna have a good time out here camping in the back of this. We're gonna find a nice spot to go camping out in the middle of nowhere, and I got a bunch of snacks, being pretty healthy. And why am I driving this truck today? Well, while I was out on a logging road doing some inspections, I had my vehicle backed into by a piece of heavy machinery. So my boss told me to come down this logging road and check on one of the workers who was doing drainage ditch work with a backhoe, doing a little bit of grading. I pulled down there, and the guy made multiple maneuvers back and forth, and he smashed right into me. He never turned around once to see me back there. I assumed he already saw me. I had a fluorescent vest, and my vehicle was off over 2 minutes before the collision, so my boss's insurance company sided with me, so that's gonna cover everything. It's covering this truck. The insurance only wanted to pay for 50 miles a day on this truck, and I'm telling them, well, I drive a couple hundred miles a day just doing these inspections alone, so we were able to get a wiggle room. So I have this truck for 3 weeks, unlimited miles, and I tell you, the gas mileage this thing gets is absolutely amazing. I can't believe it. This thing is averaging over the past few days 28 mpg. Well, we're about to see how it does off-road. It drives like a sports car on the road. And if there's not someone in front of me, I keep accidentally speeding with it because I'm not used to a 10-speed transmission. That's what it is. And this is a double turbo V6. It's a type of engine I wouldn't personally buy. I choose reliability over efficiency. This is very efficient, but the drivetrain isn't known for going more than 150,000 miles without replacement. That's why I choose my vehicle. It's known to go between 300,000 and 400,000 miles before catastrophic failure. And that's the only reason. But other than that, this thing drives amazingly. It's got all kinds of pretty cool features in it. So right now we're in the middle of nowhere, and we're about to hit logging road property. This road here just ends. It just disappears into the dirt in like another 5 minutes. So yeah, I do expect to maybe get some flats with it because the tires aren't great. I used to get flats all the time with road tires. That's another reason why this truck is riding so well. I'm used to off-road tires, which feel like a piece of heavy equipment tire. Even nails will often bend before going into it. So yeah, this has soft tires. Hopefully nothing happens on our time out here. It also doesn't have a winch, so we have to be pretty careful. I brought some traction boards. I brought a come-along to hopefully get myself out if I do get stuck. I was up here last week with my truck, and I got it stuck 3 times, so it happens. We just got to be more careful with this truck here. We also can't scratch it because it's a rental, so we got to be careful where exactly we bring it. But we're going to travel today another 3 hours north because there's a specific spot I want to be able to go camping in the back of this truck. And we got to be bear aware. A bear tried to break into my truck a couple weeks back, I honked the horn, it ran away, came back 20 minutes later, so I obviously had to give up and just go away. So another reason this truck probably handles so well, and another reason I need to be careful with it, is it doesn't have skid plates, it's not lifted. My truck is lifted, it's not as wide, it's a mid-sized truck, so it feels like you're gonna tip over more often around corners. This thing, I can go pretty fast around corners with it. It's pretty cool, honestly. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I was so angry during that accident. I was fuming on the whole way home with it. And that bucket on that backhoe was inches away from hitting a cooling line for the transmission. So it almost was undrivable. But my car has, or my truck has, around $8,000 in damage, and they think it'll take 3 weeks to fix it. So we get to have fun with this brand new truck that is only a couple months old. I wanted to get out and show you how clean it is, but because by the time we get to the campsite, I guarantee it's not going to be white anymore. Oh wow, we're off-road and these shocks actually feel really, really good. The factory shocks are actually very, very good. And we're gonna be on some very potholy roads, so good to know we're not gonna have any issues, not gonna have to drive very, very slow. At first, the rental company tried to give me a tiny car, and I refused it because I knew I wouldn't be able to do my job out on these roads. So the past couple of months, we have been officially an employee of the logging company and doing road inspections. It's been fun. So I have a pretty cool work schedule, actually. I will work about 12 hours a day, 7 days in a row. Then I get a whole week off. Back and forth, out until the month of June when mud season's over. That's when we're going to be doing a lot of road inspections. I got a ton of road inspection videos coming, tons of unclogging videos coming. It is awesome finally signing on with the logging company. And I couldn't have a better boss in the world. At first, that guy tried to blame me, saying that I drove into him. He didn't know I had a dash camera. As soon as I showed my boss and the insurance company that dash camera footage, they were fuming that that guy lied about that. But that was also a brand new backhoe. It only had 2 hours on it. Didn't even have a scratch on it, so I don't know what that guy was worried about. The logging company has great insurance, and they are covering this rental, they're covering my repairs, all kinds of stuff. Accidents happen. It's a big logging company. My boss is used to having claims a couple times a year for stupid random things. So I don't know why the guy was so upset about that. Well, this truck actually rides very, very good on these roads. My truck rides really good also, but I think it's because it has the city tires, and I'm not really used to those anymore. Out here on these roads, it's getting kind of dry. A week ago when I was out on these roads, we got some uncloggings, there was lots of mud, but yeah, I'm actually starting to realize that the meteorologist and the news, they're right. I can see it now. We are in a drought. It is not normal that all the mud is gone in the end of April. Usually this persists even into the middle of June. Although if I was to drive to far northern Maine, there's still over a foot of snowpack in the woods. But still, yeah, New England is in a bit of a drought this year. And I am seeing that. But boom, there. Oh wow, look at the dust storm we're making back there. Wow, it is already dusty this time of year. That's not normal. And also everyone, the rental company, I warned them that I might get this thing pretty dirty. And they told me that they don't care. They actually love pressure washing because it's so satisfying. I warned them that I'll probably return this truck with half of the state underneath it. I always bring home hundreds of pounds of muck. But there's really not that much mud this time. If I look in the rear view mirror right now, the dust storm is really, really bad. And The shocks in this are doing pretty good. I got all the gas cans in the back. I got the spare tire. I brought that giant off-road jack. Nothing's moving around. Nothing's even budging on these bumps. It's pretty amazing, actually. Can't believe how good it's doing. You know, this truck might change my opinion on these newer models. The drivetrain might not be as reliable, but the efficiency in this thing and the smoothness is really, really awesome, actually. Most of what you're hearing there is actually just the tripod shaking around a bit. It's actually pretty quiet. None of the dust seems to be getting in. The dust doesn't get in my truck either. It's when you open and shut the doors a lot. That's when it gets in here. But I got a bed here set up in the back seat, just like I do in my truck. So we got 2 spare tires there. Because this truck is brand new, there shouldn't be an issue getting the spare tire underneath the truck off. But with road salt and stuff, all it takes is a few years. If you're not taking it off there once a year and lubricating the parts, you're probably gonna have to break it off. That's how it works with a lot of trucks. All right, we're about to go down a notorious bumpy hill here with a beaver flood at the bottom. This road, the logging company has literally given up on it, and I've showed it in the past. Also, something that's amazing, I'm not used to a truck having a key. Most trucks don't have keys anymore. I'm surprised to see this 2025 model with a physical key. You don't usually see that anymore either. All right. So this road here was abandoned by the logging company a couple years back because it kept washing out. It kept becoming extremely eroded. You see, this is a very, very rocky road. They made it rocky to keep it from washing out, and you know, it worked. But they found a better route around that is flat, takes less time. They don't have the beavers flooding it literally all the time. We have a flood down here that we're about to drive through in a moment. You can probably see it down there at the bottom of the hill. I hope we don't get more than 1 flat tire, because I purposely brought my own spare tire which fits this truck the same, just so I don't have to mess with anything on the undercarriage. But we got 2 of them just in case. Look at all that red gravel there. That's red shale rock right there. That's pretty cool looking. Alright, it's bath time. Here we go through the beaver swamp, and wow, in the last week the water really stopped flowing through here. A week ago the water was surging through here. Now it's barely even in the road, barely even flowing. It's pretty amazing, actually. Also, the sound dampening in this truck is also amazing. You can't even hear what's going on outside. This is probably the most bumpy road I know of. And it's really, really not that bad in this truck. That's not the end of it. We got like 2 more miles of this shaking back and forth stuff here. And some more floods. All right, I'm a little confused right there, actually. the wipers in a Ford are on the left side. The right side is the shifter, where I'm used to the wipers being. All right, we got a couple more hours of horrible, horrible roads like this before we get to where I plan on camping. Wow, look at all that dust. All right, we're actually doing pretty good. Look, it's showing the total miles I've driven since I just stopped at a gas station, which is 32. But 13 of those miles were fully electric. And right now it's running on fully electric because notice to the left, there's no RPM. But if I hit the gas pedal a little bit, the engine just started to go up this hill. Pretty interesting. That's how it's accomplishing such good mileage out here. The engine hasn't been on too long, but it's already not getting great miles. It's down to 22 when on road it was 28. But you look on the left, is the engine really turning on and off multiple times a minute? Is that what it's doing? 'Cause watch, the RPM thing keeps disappearing. Well, it was, and it's also doing a lot of regenerative braking, I'm noticing, to save power. See, did the engine just shut off because I took my foot off the gas? Now we're creeping up a hill. Did the engine just start again? Is that what that means? All right, everyone, we're going by some logging operations. I don't think the trucks are allowed on the roads yet. There still could be mud coming up. I think there's definitely areas that are still going to be soft. Now that we're getting further up north, there's less and less dust. The road is starting to get wetter. And in some cases, there's even snow in the woods still. So where we're camping, I bet there's still going to be a lot of snow. See, there's a little bit right there off to the side. But we still got hours worth of driving up north to do. It's a pretty warm day, though. It's 60 degrees outside, or about 15 Celsius. Pretty decent day for the end of April on this elevation, especially considering this area here can snow up until the beginning of June. I don't think it'll happen this year. This year seems like it's going to be a pretty warm spring. Look at that. It's going to be May in a couple of days, and there's still a lot of ice out on the lakes. It's getting colder now that we're still traveling north. All right, we finally got some mud coming up. A week ago, this was worse. I was also on this road 3 weeks ago. Felt like I was gonna get stuck on it, but now that it's drying out, everyone driving over it is kind of smoothing it out. There's another pretty bad section coming up around the next corner, but really, really not that bad. We're dealing with dust a lot more than mud, even compared to just a week ago. Also, a lot of culverts that I marked that were frozen solid, they've all let go. All the problems solve themselves. All right, this area is still a little bit bad, especially the left lane. But by looking at it, they're not running the 18-wheelers yet. Or I should say, most of those trucks are 22 wheels, actually. You'd see their tracks. You don't see any tractor-trailer tracks here. One thing I noticed this truck has, which is kind of cool, it's got mud flaps in the front of the wheels, so when you drive through a puddle, it doesn't get all over the windshield. That is kind of fun when it goes over the windshield, but you can't do it with this truck, apparently. I've tried multiple times. You can't get the mud to fly over the front of it. Yeah, this road actually fixed itself a lot in the past couple of weeks. We're making pretty good time. And in this off-road scenario, the hybrid system's working a lot better. Nearly half of the miles are electric. On road, about 25% is electric. We're doing really, really good, actually. It's kind of cool. Alright everyone, we're further north now. It's a bit more muddy. There's more potholes up here filled with water. This area's still got some mud season, so we gotta be careful how far we pull over if we do pull over. Alright everyone, we're trying four-wheel drive for the first time. That just made us feel a lot slower. So now I bet the gas mileage will go down a bit. This mud is pretty slippery. There's definitely still mud season going on further north. The ground is definitely still frozen beneath this road. It's getting colder as we come up north. All right, everyone, I just backed up because we got to do this again. That was so cool. Look at the mirror. Keep an eye on the mirror. Watch this. Ah, didn't do it that time. The splash made a rainbow the first time. The kind of road we're driving on right now is what will pop city tires. This is very sharp shale rock. That's why I haven't bought normal tires in years. All right, everyone, look at this really cool giant bridge coming up. It's got a bunch of damage there. It's kind of scary. Someone almost falling off this. It's beautiful out. Still got a little bit of snow. Look at the sky. All right, everyone, we had to stop at this bridge. This is where we went camping a couple years ago. That was one of my favorite camps. Water levels are still a little bit elevated. There's still a lot of snow this far north melting. It's a warm day. See right there, there's even a road you can drive down. I've seen people in the summer even bring campers down there on the edge. I've thought about camping on that island in the summer. When this is low enough, you can just walk across with regular boots. Yep, this is where we went camping, right here. It was completely frozen, and it was a lot of fun watching logging trucks going by all night long. Because it was the time of year the roads would get solid only at night. Someone hit this, you think someone almost went off? I think someone almost went off because I was across this bridge a couple weeks ago and that wasn't damaged. This far north, there's still a decent amount of snow in the woods. We could probably have woods with a solid coating if we go north a couple more hours. There's the ladies' underwear tree. Across the road is the men's underwear tree. 2 years I have had cameras set up here. I've made a few videos of time-lapsing floods in the area, and it would make awesome footage getting a video of a moose walking across this bridge because it's very clear that they do. This right here is the worst frost heave of the day. You can't see it from a distance. It just came out of nowhere. We gotta stop for a minute. Things went flying in the back. You see, from a distance, you can't even see the ripples, and The tire jumped up here. Traction plate jumped up here. The tire jumping up there broke one of the nozzles of the gasoline container. But it's okay, we can still pour it. These are junk cans anyways, but that's a disappointment there. Still got these here. That's in case we have to mark something. I got flags today along with ribbon. And this maple sugar farm here is still operating. You see how there's still snow in there? The ground's definitely still frozen. I wouldn't be surprised if this maple sugar farm gets to have another month of operation, honestly. Yeah, it's right up here. You're gonna see it right here. They're still producing maple sugar. I don't think they're boiling it here. I think it's just a collection facility into a tank, and then they move it to one of the buildings where they boil it, the sugar house that has the evaporators. But we gotta be careful because on this road you can't even see these in advance. There's frost heaves everywhere. The ground is definitely still frozen. I just got out for a minute. Oh wow, this grouse is not afraid of me at all, and it's putting on a show. It's its mating ritual. I was able to get actually a few great snapshots of it. I got out to look at some things. These blue ribbons are from me a couple weeks back. I didn't have the bright colors at the time. Someone else did that. So this mark you see here is a big rock that got shoved up and is now receding. Still a good amount of snow right here. They did some drainage ditch work right here. So this water, instead of flooding across the road, it's making its way down to the next pipe. I only got out because it seems to be a little bit elevated in here. I'm trying to figure out if there's just an excess of water from snow melt or if there's beavers. I know they were relocated here after causing years of havoc. I just want to stop and look at the grate. Wide open, all clear. The beavers haven't found their way back, and that's why the grate is staying off, because that actually will clog itself with leaves quite easily. But if the beavers are back, that gets shoved in there so the beaver can't make a dam in the middle of the pipe where it's nearly impossible to get out. Look at that, everyone. It's filled with water. We have a miniature Grand Canyon in the road. It's probably a few feet deep, the crevice, before it starts filling in with mud again. Look at that, there's still river ice on the side there. This would be so awesome for kayaking or canoeing. That is just beautiful. The spring thaw is still happening up here. This is flowing pretty good compared to how I was mentioning it's very dry a couple hours south. We're doing good. Up here still seems pretty wet. There's a lot of snow still melting. Look at that, everyone. There's a moose down there. Yay. A couple weeks back, if you saw me cleaning up all this trash in the ditch, I knew there was gonna be more of it. It was just buried under the snowbank. All right, everyone, we're gonna camp here. I've been driving over 3 hours. We haven't passed a single vehicle. There's no one out here this time of year. We even drove by a couple logging camps. They seem empty. No one's around this time of year. They cleared this during the winter, this massive clear cut. I kind of want to camp right here at this massive clear cut. And we're gonna camp here in the back of the truck. I'm gonna set a tent up in here. So let's get up here and see how everything moved around. This thing jumped up here again. So I'm just gonna take everything out, leave it right here, out here in the middle of nowhere. Nobody should mess with us. Hopefully the bear leaves us alone too. I'll make sure to do all my eating in the truck. Hopefully they don't smell it in there. Yeah, we're gonna set up a tent right here in the back. Awesome, it did not break. It just, I guess it's made for that so you don't break it. Imagine somebody drives by right now, they're gonna think we're dumping all kinds of stuff. All right, everyone, now that we got the tent set up, I have this really small air mattress, which I've used a bunch of times now. It's pretty cool. First off, we gotta make sure, yep, the drain plug is closed. Now we open this up. It's a hand pump. Haven't used it in a bit. See, you just keep squeezing until it's full. It's easier to use your hands. It's advertised as using your feet. But now that we get inside here, this is what's gonna make the floor comfortable. We just gotta sometimes it wants to shut on you. You just gotta work around that. When this is not in your way, it can pump up in as little as a minute. All right, everyone, now it's starting to get harder to pump. You see, I'm now using my fist instead of my palm. It's getting really hard. Don't want to do it too much. You don't want to pop it. I think we're good. Put the cover on. And look at that, now we got a bed. And I got a pillow in the truck that we're gonna put in here. And by coincidence, our pillow is gonna match. Yes, that is a pillow, but I got a way better pillow in the truck. Let me show you. I think we'll be left alone tonight. I do think a vehicle or two will probably go by, but it's so far in the middle of nowhere. We'd have to drive over 2 hours to get to the pavement, or in that direction about 1 hour, but you'd have to go into Quebec and no one's going through the border there. So, got everything out. Just by coincidence, it's the same color. Look at that. Same color as the tent, my pillow. It's one thing that's not camouflage. My blanket. See, I have a nice bed set up back here, got a nice mattress, the big high boots, got the rake. Because I am still out here working. We're just having fun now that it's late at night. And it's been a slow spring thaw today. We barely got out to mark anything. I wasn't even marking drainage issues. I was putting up ribbons next to those really bad frost heaves. Big truck hits that, it's going to lose logs. They're not running anyways. Most of those frost heaves will settle back down flat without any repair. It's just ice that's been expanding. But some of them are bad. Most of them are marked by other people, but we had a few very, very bad ones today. So we're set up nicely in here. Gonna have dinner. Gonna put together this video a bit while I sit in the truck and have dinner. Healthy. See, I'm like a bear. I got blueberries, raspberries. I ate a bunch of blackberries. I have cherry tomatoes, and we have some dessert. Energy drinks, a whole bunch of freeze-dried stuff. We have some oranges, Slim Jims, lots of water. You saw the Powerade. Here's a banana. That'll be for breakfast before it goes bad. And if someone thought that's wine, that is not wine. And I had some chicken in here earlier. We have not had a frost, even of the slightest, in the last 5 days. And there's not a single one in the forecast, even this far north, amazingly. Next week, we have a couple days that are going to be close to 80 degrees outside. Can't believe it. I think this looks pretty cool. I've never done this before. Now we're going to go for a walk down the road and pick up some of that trash. It's literally right there. We're going to see what else was left behind. If you saw the video where I pulled that stuff out of the snowbank, that was visible. Ooh, there's a culvert here. Flowing good. There was a Keurig machine, a bunch of children's toys. There was an air purifier. Like, some random person did not just have that out here. Someone was crazy enough to drive all the way out here and dump that. And I have no idea why. And also on top of it, you see, no one drives on these roads for hours at a time. Who spends the time to throw it in the woods? Just leave it on the side of the road where somebody can actually pick it up. Do you really think someone's going to go out of their way fingerprinting and doing anything to trace you? No, it's not a big deal. Or this amount of stuff right here, why didn't you just throw it in a trash can at a gas station or something? You gotta pollute the environment forever, going out of your way to make sure it doesn't get picked up by throwing it over in the side. See all the roads wet there? But yet it was sunny today. Also down there where you saw those big cracks in the road that were leaking water, it's because it's pressurized underground and it's coming up. It's also the weight of the road pushing down on top of frozen ice, forcing it up out of cracks. So, what new additions do we have to throw up in the road? Another coffee maker. Who has 2 broken coffee makers at their house that they decide to bring out here? I really don't want to get blamed for this, so we're just going to throw this up there and get out of here. But I'm sure any employee from around here knows that this has been out here a while. What a bunch of junk. Who does this stuff right in the environment? Some kind of metal cage. Is that for a deep fryer? Electric toothbrush? Seriously. What is wrong with some people? This is not like it's on the outskirts of the city. Maine is extremely rural before you even get to the woods. Kick that hard, I got a steel toe boot. I hear an angry squirrel. A couple of them. They're not used to a human out here. Can't wait until it starts getting cooler out at night. It's probably only about 55 degrees or 12 Celsius, but I sleep a lot better when it gets down near that freezing mark. So, if anyone's unaware, this is a tree farm Everything you see here is planted, and they cut it down every 40 years. So everything you see right here, they're going to come out with a machine this summer, and they're going to plant the entire forest again. It's no different than a farmer's field, except it's a crop that takes decades to grow. Let's go for a little walk out there before I sit down and edit and have dinner. It's not easy to walk through this stuff until it starts rotting a bit. But when they replant, this entire area is also gonna be full of berry bushes. It attracts a lot of wildlife. It's really hard to walk over some of these piles. Got a massive rock right here. They have quite the beast of machines, log skids that come out here. And the trees you see they left standing they're either dead or like down there. Those ones they have to wait 70 years to cut because it's gonna be lumber. Now balsam fir and spruce can also become lumber, but it commonly isn't. See, this is so fresh it's even still leaking. It doesn't realize it was cut down yet, a lot of these trees. See that? It's still leaking. And if these is this maple? No, that's birch, but it still tastes good. Animals will come out here and be licking that stuff this time of year. Yeah, moose have been out here. There's moose poop. I saw somebody in my comment section a while back. They had a good idea to make a video called the Lorax Camp. And this is one of the biggest clearings I could find. As far as the eye can see, pretty much. It's the best angle you're gonna get on something like this. Look at the sunset starting to look really, really nice. Massive clearing. Losing my balance there a little bit. So, I believe there's an access road that goes back here, but we're running out of daylight. That's why I didn't bother with that. And you see, there are a few spots we could have cleared out, but I feel like being over in the truck's a little safer this time of year, especially since a couple weeks ago a bear tried to get in. I scared it, came right back 20 minutes later, so I had to leave. I don't think that'll happen again. I've camped out here hundreds of times, and I just happened to be unlucky that night. It's a black bear. It's not like a grizzly. If you make a loud noise, it's gonna run away. But, of course, it came back. Same thing with the bears sometimes going into my trash cans at home. I'll throw a firecracker outside. It'll come back. And, you know, every time you do it, it's just a little less scared of it. Lots of moose poop. Lots of moose that were hanging out here. Yep. It's becoming red moose poop season because of all the buds opening up on the trees. You see over here, the trees are like twigs for maximum profit when they replant. They just plant them so close together, and if they don't cut them down after 40 years like they plan, they'll overcrowd and just start dying out. When they replant things that are all the same like that, that's not exactly good for the environment. It creates a dead area because everything's exactly the same. It's a broken ecosystem. But more times than not now, when they replant or just let whatever randomly grow back, it's considerably more healthy now when that happens. All right, it's dinner time for me. We're gonna snack like a bear. Gonna eat just a lot of berries tonight. We'll save all the high protein stuff for the morning when I start my day. Maybe we'll even go for a little walk tonight with the big flashlight once it gets completely dark. It's about 7 o'clock right now, so we don't have much longer. But what's cool about living up north compared to people that live in the south, in the summer, some places up here it'll be light until 10 o'clock. There's frogs over here. I hear them splashing in the puddle. It's always sad to see them in puddles that are going to dry up because it's mating season. That means they're going to lay eggs in here. Yep, they've already laid eggs, which have a bad destiny coming. Because these puddles are going to dry up. I wouldn't even be surprised in a week. But maybe we can scoop those up and throw them in a nearby pond. Regardless, if we don't, it's the cycle of nature, I guess. The birds will get them. You see across the road where they logged a couple years back, they logged in the back. This was like an access. Everything you see growing there is raspberry bushes. That's why these clearings attract so many bears in the summer. They love it. How many acres do you think they logged here? 100 maybe? It's a big place. Maybe only 50. Hard to judge on the horizon there. Wow, the temperature dropped fast. Feels nice and cool out here now. Can hear beautiful birds out. It's only 5 minutes to 8. Days are getting longer. Summer's coming soon. Here's some nice water trickling. Very nice dark section of woods in there. Just waiting for it to get nice and dark. We can maybe go for a walk. I hope I don't forget. First thing in the morning, I want to go back over to that little frog pool. I remember exactly where it is. I just want to grab those clusters of eggs. We're going to give them a chance. We're going to throw them in a pond. We'll just collect them and dump them in a pond somewhere, like a mile up the road. It's very easy to find water in Maine. Even during the biggest drought, you don't have to walk far to find something. Wait, did I just see something move? I thought I saw something move up there. I guess not. It's getting chilly out. I'm gonna have to sleep in a hoodie tonight. I love camping in the cold. This time of year, there's not many yet. Give it a couple more weeks. I've already got bit by a mosquito just setting up the tent. First mosquito bite of the year. They're not super bad yet, but I'm also seeing deer flies. Those are horrible. Deer flies will follow you around as you're walking in the sun. You walk into the shade, they leave you alone. But out in the open, they'll follow you around and they hurt really bad. They're almost as bad as a horsefly bite. Horseflies hurt so bad, but deer flies always show up in a crowd. You'll have like a swarm of them around your head, all trying to bite you, and they make you bleed unlike a mosquito bite. Look at the nice water here, right next to camp. See how the grass pushed over? This was flowing a lot heavier not too long ago. As far as the eye can see, just berry bushes back there in those clearings. Yeah, I was thinking about it when I was editing this video together. It's a good thing that the log trucks aren't running this time of year. If you've seen many of my other videos this year, the amount of logs that fall off trucks when it runs over a bump. There's no bumps right here next to the truck, but imagine that, sleeping in the middle of the night and having a log fall on you. I'm sure the truck would try to slow down a bit, especially in the straightaway, but Sometimes they don't. I've had trucks pass me where they almost sideswipe you. They don't slow down out here. That's why there's logs everywhere. But you also got to think about it like these. These are private roads. There's not many people around. It's better for the logging companies to have the truck driver show up with 95% of the load driving twice as fast instead of 100% taking twice the time, because they can get a lot more loads in and out if you think about it like that. But yeah, this was the top year ever. I can't believe in some videos how many logs we found on the side of the road that have spilled. Watch my lumber mill video if you haven't seen it. Great example. All over the side of the road is just spilled logs. Not much of a sunset in this area, but look at this massive flat rock. It's like a stone table. There's lots of iron oxidizing bacteria in this water here. And some oil. I don't know if that's from the equipment or if it's natural. Yeah, look at this. This rock's like a stone table. It's big enough you could put a one-man tent on it. Pretty cool. Before it gets too dark, you know what I kind of want to do? Let's see if we can set up a trail camera somewhere. Then we'll have footage if a bear actually messes with me. I think it's highly unlikely. I've slept in these woods hundreds of times, and that was my first time being messed with. But that being said, wide open areas like this, animals will walk. They don't like traipsing through the woods. It's difficult. Walking through that kind of stuff, as you saw with me, it's difficult. Moose travel along the roads. That's why we see so many of them, especially at dusk like this. So this right here is my box of camera lights, my magnetic light for in culverts, more tape for the road. Bingo, it has a SD card. The reason I was thinking it might not have an SD card is because I had an SD card that wasn't working I used to transfer files, so I had to borrow one. It's probably the other camera, and I know I forgot the card at home. So right here, we're also gonna pull out my toolbox. I always come out prepared with all kinds of things I could possibly need. I have just about every tool in here. Got zip ties. The only thing I need to get metal zip ties in case we ever had something like an exhaust, something hot you had to string up in here. Yeah, I've got nuts and bolts. I got plastic pins in case there was something falling off of something. Got duct tape, always comes in handy. I think we only need one zip tie. If not, I'll come back. We're probably going to hang this on like a twig of a tree, honestly. I'm probably going to put it on that little teeny tree over there, facing it back here across the road. And I'm going to do a little bit of trimming up. Mosquitoes, we're going to have to get in, but it's really not that bad because we haven't got late into the season yet. Yeah, if something happens like with the bear, I want this on camera, especially if we're in a tent. Something's in the way of that, but I think the door will still close. I'll have to set the time and date on this because they rarely remember. I'm not sure why all the lights keep turning on. I haven't really figured out everything, and I don't really plan on even trying to figure out the entertainment system because I'm not going to have that truck for too long. So it doesn't really matter to me. Now, where should I put the camera? That tree's probably a little too close. What do you think? Actually, I think it's best, I'm going to find a stick and just jam it in the ground. Maybe this stick. Let's see if the ground is soft. It's not windy, so I think that's stable enough. I stood the stick up. It's not even in the ground. It's just leaning backwards into these small stumps. I could have zip tied it to the stumps very securely, but I think that's good enough. Look at the angle. It's pretty straight. I think we got enough distance. If anything messes with us, it's going to be on camera. And honestly, in the morning, I'm hoping for some interesting footage of moose walking by. The moose aren't going to just randomly hurt you. You'd actually have to be out and make them angry. But the bear, I kind of want to fill this gap so it doesn't have a place to easily jump up. I'd rather it come up here like sniffing and being like, where I could yell and then it would certainly run away. Probably cram my backpack there on my way up. But we got a nice sleeping spot. I'm about to put my jacket on because it's starting to get cold out. The wildlife sounds are so nice. You can see the rows between the trees because they were all planted by machine years back. Oh, there's mosquitoes all around me. You gotta kind of wait until it gets dark out to see it, maybe. I'm standing in front of it, looking up close. I don't even think it's dark enough for the infrared to turn on. That's what I look for to know it's working. But regardless, we're gonna look at that in the morning. See if anything interesting walked by. There shouldn't be too many false alarms in front of that. Those cameras work really good. It's just gonna be me pacing around right now for a little bit. Here's another frost heave crack. It's non-existent pretty much. They fill themselves in pretty well. These things can sometimes be multiple feet deep, the crevices. Because what happens is the road freezes, but as it continues freezing deeper and deeper in this area, it can freeze as deep as I am tall. And as it keeps freezing, ice has to expand, so it expands up and it cracks the road. But now that the road's still frozen under there, as it's thawing, the road is heavy, pushing down on that water, and it forces it up out of the crack. That's why you see the cracks leaking water. Or sometimes you'll be driving on a perfectly dry road, and the road just opens up into a mud pit. That's what I have to be careful with when we don't have a winch out here, because that caught me 3 times last week. I think I'm gonna go brush my teeth and wait for it to get dark. I'm gonna go on a nature walk. I hear lots of spring peepers. There must be a swamp somewhere nearby. Those are the teeniest little tree frogs, full grown. They're only about the size of a quarter. I love them. But they can be ear piercing. They're high pitch calls when there's thousands of them making the noise at once. It's just like a solid high-pitched screech all night long. If there's enough of them, you can't even hear the individual peeps. Okay, get back in for a bit. All right, everyone. I got my headlamp on. It's now completely dark outside. Still hear a lot of nice frogs. All right, stepping out. I guess the sky is still has a little bit of light to it. Well, getting ready to go to bed now. I had dinner. I ate that browning banana. All right, we're gonna bring bear spray back there. Big flashlight we're gonna bring back there. And bring a water bottle back there. Bring an empty water bottle back there too. I'm looking back at the trail camera, trying to figure out if it's working. I'm gonna go over there and see. Figure out if this oh, it's working. You cannot see that with the naked eye. The camera can see it. It just shut off because that's how a trail camera works, so it doesn't burn up the battery. It'll make small clips, but it takes breaks in between. Yep, it's definitely on. You cannot see that with the naked eye. Yep, now you can see it on camera. You cannot see that in person. In person, it looks like nothing. Because if you could see that in person, then walking through the woods, anyone would see that and steal them. You have to be right up on them to see them with the naked eye. I hear frogs. Where are these frogs? Are these the same ones from earlier? Got our big light. There's a lot of moths out. Whole ton of moths flying around. Ooh, frog. See it swimming? Oh no. This is why I rescue frogs in my area. We didn't see this earlier. This is kind of sad. We can't rescue them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's egg sacs everywhere. This is thousands of frog eggs in these pools. Look over here. Look, there's a frog on the end of that log. Oh, there's a couple of them. And a ton more eggs. It's always sad because you know they have no chance, even if the water didn't dry up. Thousands of eggs right there in these little puddles. They would pollute themselves. They'd run out of oxygen. Enough algae would not grow in here to support them. We got a lot of them in there. I don't believe I have a bucket or anything to take that many. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, we do have a bucket. Look, more. And there's the frog. So basically, frog eggs, they swell up like an Orby. They're tiny, but as soon as the egg is laid, it expands. Now there's pools like this across this entire opening. So I'm not gonna go off a bit, but yeah, somebody conveniently dumped us a few buckets down the road. Isn't that right? We're gonna rescue some frog eggs. Matter of fact, we're gonna scoop up the frog eggs now. So first thing in the morning, we can go dump them somewhere. These ones don't have any. Thankfully, they're very shallow. Some of these frogs are not too smart about where they are laying their eggs. And I'm getting my boots almost stuck in the mud there. What am I seeing? What is that? Oh, I thought it was someone's license plate, like there was just randomly a vehicle right there. There's a sign. That's an intersection down there, I forgot. I gotta tell you, when you're out in the middle of the woods like this, this is eerie. It's honestly a bit scary when you're out here like this. We don't need the big light. I'm gonna go grab a couple buckets. Places like this, if you go for a car drive at night, guaranteed you're gonna see a couple moose during the spring. This is the most active time of the year for moose. There's got to be a big pond or a swamp down here because you hear all the frogs. All those peeping sounds. There's been times I've been in the woods, I've literally got a headache because there's so many of those noises. They're pretty far away, but they're ear piercing when they're right next to you. I don't want to run into a moose out here. Okay. What did they leave us that we could maybe have water in? There's nothing. Oh, yeah, it's broken. I was about to say there's nothing even wrong with the boot rack. But yeah, there's some buckets. Oh no, that one's broken. This one's broken. How about this? I think that mechanism, I don't think this is, I think that's supposed to hold water. How about this one? Is that solid? Nope, that's cracked. Oh, come on. What a shame. We got this little pail, the red pail, you know. We're gonna take these little pails and this because it's all we got to work with. We're gonna save some frog eggs. We're not gonna do it tonight then. I thought we had a couple buckets there waiting for us, but apparently we don't. So we'll use this tomorrow. Honestly, in the morning, I can probably duct tape the red bucket. We can go collect some eggs. And it's not like we were going to drive very far. We'll likely find them a place to dump them out in like 10 minutes. The first area, like a beaver swamp, is where we're going to dump them. You don't want to put them in a wide open lake. It's just going to become fish food. You also don't want to throw them in a river. They can't fight the current. You want to put them in a stagnant, smallish pond that you're confident isn't going to dry up. Pretty much is what you want. So this is what I've been doing at my house for years. Taking them out of the drainage ditches, bringing them home. This year they laid less eggs than normal. There's a frog. And I think it's because of all the snakes we attracted last year. Nature has a way of balancing itself out. I increased the frog population. Now we have a lot of snakes. And now we have a lot of crows and vultures because of the snakes. That's how nature works. Always sorts itself out. Also this year, like I said, it's pretty dry down south where I live. And all the pools in the woods, like over here in my yard, they all dried up. The drainage ditch by the highway I usually collect them from, yeah, they are almost non-existent. Now this is some trash that matches what's down there. And I don't need some park rangers seeing that I have some of this stuff and just assuming it's me who dumped it. So I'm just gonna put that in the truck for now, you know. I think we're about set to go to sleep. We'll know in the morning with our camera, but I'm pretty muddy. I doubt we're gonna have any single person drive by tonight. I do highly think we'll have a moose walk by, maybe on the camera, which would be kind of cool. Take off my very muddy boots. You saw I was driving dusty roads all day long, going through mud holes. I can't believe the truck bed didn't get dirty at all. And this truck seems to have mud flaps on the front of the wheels too, so it doesn't splash as much. The last person that rented this had a barbecue in here. There's lots of ash. There's some charcoal. Let's just try to cram a few things here towards the end, just to make noise if a bear does come. I want to wake up if something does happen. That's why I don't like camping in the summer, because you got to think about this. And it wasn't even on my mind until a bear messed with me a couple weeks ago out here. But, you know, that's all we can really do. Not too bad. I get to fall asleep with frog noises. Multiple different types of frog noises. I hear gray tree frog. I hear wood frogs. I hear peepers. I hear a waterfall or something far in the distance. There's absolutely no wind tonight. It got cool enough that the mosquitoes are uncomfortable flying around. It's going to be a good night. And it's just, other than that, beautifully quiet. I even hear the drainage ditch, a good amount of trickling water over there. We're going to have a really good night. Well, I've been up, I've been on the roads. Let me think. How long have I been out today? Well, I just got the rental truck today, and it seems to be doing really, really good. Some of the technology I don't like. There's a couple features on newer vehicles I hate. The dusty roads I don't agree with. It not having a gas cap. It has this, like a flap. It's got a rubber gasket around the door, but every time you open the door, I bet dust is going to try to get in there. I don't like that feature. I wouldn't want a vehicle with that, but overall, this thing rides very, very smooth. I don't know how to describe it. I think the shocks on this are softer than what I'm used to, which is great for on-road, but it's not good for off-road because if you hit a bunch of bumps really, really fast, all at the same time, it kind of tries to shake you off the road because you just can't stop bouncing. I think that's called soft shocks or whatnot, but yeah, my truck doesn't do that. That's one thing I did realize, so there's pros and cons here, but it's okay. I'm going to try getting some sleep. It's now 8:30 p.m. We drove today about 10 hours up here. On the dirt roads, maybe 4 hours, but overall today I drove maybe 10 hours, and I'm kind of tired. I hope I can actually get a good night's sleep. We're going to find out. Listen to that, all the frogs. It's mating season right now. Just listen carefully a bit. It's pretty close. There'll probably be even more eggs right next to the road tomorrow. If I went searching, I could probably find enough eggs in puddles out there to fill multiple 5-gallon buckets, but just the ones I see or ones I know about right now I want to move. I'm not going to go out looking for them, but I would like to save the ones that I saw. But as you can tell, there's no shortage of frogs in the wilderness. Just listen around. They're everywhere. You drive around out here during a rainstorm in the middle of the summer on a warm night. Oh, you're going to see so many frogs, you can't help but run them over. There's just hundreds or maybe thousands crossing the road everywhere. It's sad. Oh my gosh, that's so terrifying. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. That's fish or cats. If you ever hear what sounds like monsters or human voices screaming at night, it's fish or cats. They sound like humans screaming. It sounds like people are getting killed right now in the woods or being chased by something. Listen. Fish or cats love water and swamps. I don't know if you can hear that in the distance, but fish or cats screaming is like a horror movie. I guess it's mating season for them, and there's lots of noises right now. It's terrifying. I gotta try to sleep somehow. And to make this even scarier, there's no signal out here. I've got a CB radio, but no one's gonna hear it out here. We're too far. This phone's almost dead. I didn't charge it all the way. I think it'll be enough for morning as long as I don't make too many video clips or keep looking at it. It's still on 40%, but would like to keep it higher. I don't hear the screaming anymore, but if I hear it again, I'm going to try to get a nice clear clip of it and enhance it a bit so you can maybe hear it. But I know you can hear it on there. I just listened to it again. I don't hear it, but that's going to scare me a lot if it happens like right next to me. What you're hearing is probably half a mile away, very far. If it was here, it'd be terrifying. Noise travels super far out here. Like if I was to hit the horn, you'd hear that miles away. There's nothing out here. It's wilderness. Okay, it's starting to get a little windy, and it's raining. I've only been in here about an hour. I haven't heard any weird noises in a while either, so we gotta open this up. I need to put my bag in here. We need to minimize what's getting wet. Everything down there can get wet. No problem. My bag has to come in here. We got space. This tent has a good amount of space in it. Leave my backpack in here. The tent, who cares if it gets wet? I can always deal with that another time. These, on the other hand, are pretty muddy, so here's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna stick them here in that slot upside down. Maybe the rain will clean them off, but at least they aren't gonna get wet. There we go. All right, everyone, it's 10 at night. The rain stopped. It's a perfect temperature, actually, right now. I don't think it's going to get too much colder because tomorrow is supposed to be like 70 degrees or 22 Celsius. I got to put earplugs in because the wind is picking up and this flapping noise I'm not going to be able to sleep through that. Good morning, everyone. Sun is just starting to come up. Well, I'm not going to get any more sleep. I know that. It didn't get down the coldest. It does feel a bit chilly for some reason. I'm a bit chilly. Well, I'm going to go have breakfast in the truck so I can warm up a little bit. Then we're going to come back here and we'll take everything down. Here's our first look outside. Five in the morning. So what it looks like. My boots, I think, are dry just because of how they are. I can tell there's a lot of grouse birds around because when it's raining, do you know what grouse birds do? When they wake up, they dry off their leaves and it makes this pulsing sound. It goes boom, 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 like that. The first time I was out in the woods and I heard that noise, I thought that something was running towards me. Just the way it pulses through the air. So yeah, we're gonna have some breakfast right now. Warm up a little bit. It feels a lot colder than the thermometer is saying. Yeah. Lots of nice bird noises, though. We can also check that trail camera in just a bit. I'm pretty sure nobody drove by overnight. I don't know if the air is just really wet. Not sure exactly what's making me shiver right now. Because even when we were camping in Florida, it was colder than this. And I wasn't this cold. Alright, it's 5:30. It's been a half an hour. I woke up a bit. Now we're gonna get the blood pumping by taking all this stuff down. The tent is wet. If it doesn't dry out just through its bag, then eventually when I get home I'll deal with that. Took the trail camera down. It got nothing but myself. You see, if the camera wasn't there, something exciting would have happened. But if you put up a camera, it always means nothing's gonna happen. Just how the way it works. So now I need to deflate that air mattress. All right, everyone, I'm back in the tent. I locked myself back in here because I just realized there's a group of mosquitoes that wants me out there right now. So, look, a little bit of water got in the tent. There's a little bit of puddle in here. Now let's open this. Watch. I'm about to sink down to the floor. Ooh. Now we'll leave that open as we push out all the air. I'm going to do as much as I can in here before I go outside, just because of the mosquitoes. This tent is hard enough to do this when it's dry. Now that it's wet, it's like the air just can't escape from it. I don't even hear it escaping. All right, still eating some berries in here. 41 degrees outside. The sun is starting to look pretty over there. Almost 6 o'clock. Last night I completely overlooked this. We didn't need this. We're definitely going to use that for scooping, but we have this nice plastic aquarium right here. So we're going to add this back down to that junk pile. And I ate those all last night, the brownies. We're just going to empty this bin onto the floor right here. What is that? Hey, look, there's a blackberry that's spilled in there. And there's a spider in there. If you think I'm starting to get messy on day one, wait until you see what I look like at the end of the week. Yeah, there's actually a spider friend that was in here with us. I'm gonna just dump that guy off over here where you don't get run over. There we go. Well, I'm only keeping one of the sandcastle cups so I can scoop things. Returning that to the heap. That will eventually get picked up. This time of year, everything's dead out here until this area is officially open to the public, which probably will happen in the second week of May, the way the weather's acting. Then there'll be park rangers traveling this every single day, just making sure people don't get stuck. The reason it's not officially open to the public yet is because of what you see right here. If you pull over on the sides of these roads, this is still very soft because the ground is still frozen down there. It's still mud season. People get stuck out here very often. This time of year, anyone can still come out here, but it's not officially open. And if you get stuck, no one's going to look for you this time of year. You're on your own. And look at this. Since we were in the populated areas yesterday, I haven't seen a single car. It's not uncommon to go 2-3 days without passing a car. I could drive 1,000 miles out here and not pass a single car. That's not uncommon. It happens. Even in the summertime, if you're in certain areas, you can go a day without passing a single other person. While editing, I have to enhance that. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera, that pulsing sound of the grouse bird drying off its feathers. Now it's time to go egg scooping. And if someone's gonna say, why don't I just go ahead and take all that trash? A few reasons. I gotta work out here another week, and that means I have to deal with all that trash. I have to keep moving it around. If I go over a bump, likely a lot of this stuff's gonna fly out without me noticing, so then it's gonna be just scattered out here. So that's why. Okay, we're gonna go get some frogs now. I forget, was there any frogs over in this area? I didn't believe so. But we're gonna check, and there also could be more because last night I could tell that they were laying a lot of eggs. This time of year, you hear them mating all night. You hear frog noises all night. So I guess we're gonna start right here. We're not gonna take on a lot of water right now until we're ready to go. So these are very fresh. You see there's just little black dots in there. Now we're not going to take that egg sac. You see how the eggs are turning white? They're dead. For whatever reason. Yeah, that's the dead one we just got. I don't want that one. But these ones are alive. Wait, did I got more. Yeah, this sac is dying. Okay, that one's healthy. Oh, come on. Come on. I might be better off just using my bare hands. Then we're not just collecting lots of excess water. Feels like jelly. I've done this many times at my house, so picking them up, handling them, doesn't hurt them. What does hurt them is them being excessively agitated. But we're not going to drive very far. So we're just going to collect as many as we can see right now. We're not going to go out of our way because I know I could literally fill this entire bucket with only frog eggs. That leftover sack right there died for some reason. I'm not sure why some of them die. I don't know if the eggs are just not fertilized, because the little black piece you're seeing is the yolk. That's there immediately, so that's not it trying to grow or anything. Okay. You gotta pick it up all at once so they don't separate. Come on, there we go. This water's very cold. Those ones are dead. I'm stirring up a lot of muck, so I gotta... Those ones look alive. Is this the sack I just had? Okay, some of them look alive in there, so we'll just take it anyways. These ones look okay. Yeah, if they turn white, they're usually dead. That's what I learned at my frog ponds. But at least we're trying. But anything we don't get, it's just the cycle of nature. Even if this wasn't a logging clear cut, these frogs would still be laying these eggs regardless in areas that dry up. And it's bird food. Just listen around. Oh, this one's very, very fresh. Look how small they are. They haven't even absorbed. And because they haven't even absorbed, I can't even get it off the stick. I guess we'll take the stick. Okay, those ones are white inside. And maybe, no, they look okay, those ones. Because you gotta know they're sometimes super white, but a little bit white doesn't always mean anything. But, here, way, way more than I bargained for. I didn't realize how many we'd be collecting out here. Now, the ones we initially found last night, we gotta find those. And notice there's no frogs around anywhere. 2 reasons. These are wood frogs, and they're more like a toad. They only come to the water when they're mating. Otherwise, they'll be hopping around in the woods, not the water. So somewhere over here, there was a puddle that I found them last night before it got dark. I just gotta collect them because they were the first ones. They were in that abnormally small puddle, much smaller than this. Also, it might have got too cold and the frogs may have gone back into hibernation. It only being 40 degrees right now means it's cold enough to make my fingers numb, and this time of year frogs can bounce in and out of hibernation, so they probably just went away for now. I thought it was over here somewhere. Where's that frog puddle? Is it this? I don't think this is it. but there's some in it. Quite a few in it. And if I wasn't here, these would die. I can already see this one starting to come out of the water as the water sinks. There's another one. A lot of frog eggs. So, where's the puddle that I saw initially yesterday? Was that it? Don't believe it was. And the wood frog calls were loud last night, so a lot of these they laid last night and they haven't even absorbed yet. So that's why they're so small. I've never picked up ones that were this small before, so never seen that before. I guess that was it. I guess it was. My fingers are getting sore from holding this in this weird way. Let's go back over here. Maybe we can find a couple more in these pools. Like I said, they were mating a lot last night, so we're probably gonna find a ton more. I'm just giving it a quick scan. I don't see anything here. Nothing. Not seeing anything. What about this big pool on the way back to the truck? Oh yeah. Oh wow. Let's try to grab as many as I can before the water gets too murky to see them. Now some of these have been here a little while, probably in the warmer weather we had this week, because some of them aren't just black dots. You can actually see a tadpole forming in a couple of them. At the same time, the rest of them here, they haven't even absorbed the water yet. Some of these are still tiny. See the ones I'm picking up now? Those are no longer just a black dot. There's a tadpole forming in there. Oh no, where to go? Well, we're gonna take as many as we possibly can from this. Save as many as we can. Here we go. You see the ones that are more fresh, it's more like a goop. It's not even held together very well yet. Come on. I hear more grouse birds taking off right now. Look at all that. Doing good. All right, those scragglers can stay there. We got them, most of them. We have thousands and thousands of potential frogs here in the bucket now. And you notice most of the egg clusters are together. Okay, get them. Ooh. You know what this is? See this one with the bigger jelly around it? That's not frog eggs. That is spotted salamander eggs. We'll save them too. And I'm trying. You see, we can't feasibly get them all. A couple here and there will be left behind. It's your lucky day, this other egg sac too. Now these ones must have been laid last week, because look, they're developing into tadpoles. They're not big enough to really be moving yet, but yeah. And if you're wondering, it does not make your hands slimy. They are slimy, but it does not stick to you. Okay, these ones, I'm not sure if they're dead or not. Looks like a mix. We'll take it anyways. It might have been. That was a little bit stinky right there. Okay, let's walk by another pool. see if we see anything on the way back. Nothing. Nothing. Look what we found in this area of puddles. We probably covered here maybe a 1/4 acre of land. How many do you think there are across this clear cut? It is a huge amount. Let's take our little handy cup. Let's take that. All right, eggs. We're gonna drop you off at the very first decent pond we come across. All right, we need some kind of better trash management in here. We got a lot of containers piling up. It's only been one night. All right, we'll drive fairly slowly for the eggs. This truck's got a lot of automatic things that I don't know how to shut off. I know you can, I just don't know how. It's got automatic headlights on, all these lights in here. I don't know why they're still on while I'm driving. It makes the noise when you open the door, all kinds of things that I would typically shut off, but I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know why any of the lights in here are on right now. They weren't on yesterday. There we go. Interesting. One button turns on everything in the back too. See the trees to the left? They didn't cut them down. That's what I was talking about if you couldn't tell in the distance yesterday. They left the white pine standing for lumber. There's actually a good amount of them at the end of the clearing. Look at this frost crack in the road. It's huge. Notice there's still snow here, so you got to be very careful pulling over because you could just sink and get stuck. So I didn't pull over very, very far. So we're going to drop the eggs right here. It's a large boggy area. It's technically a river, but it is very stagnant. And we're going to put them off to the side because unlike when the mother frog is laying these eggs, they will never stick to objects again. You saw how those eggs were securely stuck onto stuff like sticks. It's never going to happen again. Now you see under this bridge we have active flowing water. We don't want to put them in the current. We don't want them to get swept away because they'll die. But look over here. When they hatch, they'll have a very big area. And notice off to the edges, there's bushes and grassland that's flooded. So they'll have lots of hiding spots until they turn into a frog, away from fish and stuff. So, until then, I think we should just dump them in an area like this that I know doesn't dry up. So, coming down here. Ooh, a duck flying away. Yeah, see these darker, deeper areas here? Ooh, ooh, almost stepped into a deep area. Here we go. Look at all those frog eggs. Give it a quick rinse. Hopefully they do well here. They just went down to the depths. That's pretty deep right there. Hopefully they got a chance now instead of drying up in that field where we found them. I don't know how I got all that mud all over myself. Yeah, I hate the automatic stuff. Every time I pull off, it locks all the doors and it doesn't unlock them when you stop. Like, I've had automatic door locks and stuff before, but, you know, like when you take off, it locks everything, you know? But it typically on a vehicle shuts, you know, it unlocks everything when you stop again. So I keep running into that, which I'm not used to. Same thing with that alarm. My vehicle doesn't do that. I've shut all that stuff off. So this squeaking noise, I don't like to hear that as I drive, so that's gonna come back here. All right, and it's not even 7 o'clock yet. We're gonna start our day doing road inspections until it gets dark. So we begin right now our 12-hour shift of inspecting roads. And I hope today's video was interesting, everyone. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. I thought I'd do a video camping in the new truck. For the most part, I like it. I don't like all the technology stuff on it. My truck's only 3 years old, but that being said, even when I bought it, the reviews say it's dated like 15 years, the entertainment system and everything. I like having physical knobs for everything. I like having mechanical knobs, which means when you turn a knob for a damper, there's actually something moving down there. Also, the same thing with the four-wheel drive. See how it's a knob. On my truck, it's mechanical. So if there's a malfunction, you can still, like, it can't malfunction electronically. Like my old car, what was it? Oh yeah, when it had a bad evap canister from pouring gas cans all the time, it wouldn't let me put it in four-wheel drive for some stupid reason. My truck wouldn't ever have that problem because it's mechanical, the shifter. And because it's mechanical, you could also drive too fast and burn up your gearbox. You got to not be an idiot. But yeah, and over here it's got automatic high beams. I mean automatic headlights that you should, on a logging road, you typically want to leave your lights on for visibility. But even when I shut it off, when I shut the truck off and turn it back on, it'll be back to automatic. Some of the things this truck does, I just don't get it. I'm not a big fan of technology and stuff, but as far as efficiency, this truck is very, very efficient. It gets nearly twice the fuel economy of my truck, but that being said, I've known people that have had F-150s. My uncle personally has a double turbo F-150. It does not have the hybrid, but he tells me the turbochargers have to be replaced about every 30,000 miles. He has about 120,000 miles on his truck. It's about 10 years old. He's had to replace the turbos twice. So you got all this kind of maintenance and stuff. That's why I'd rather go for a vehicle that gets worse gas mileage but won't need literally anything for 300,000 miles. That's just me. I try to stay away from the technology because all I see here in this rental truck is a ton of things that could go wrong and a ton of very expensive things to fix when they do go wrong. That's just me. That's my opinion. Other than that, while it's working, it's amazing.